When the Bonfire of the Vanities opened in December 1990, critics quickly labeled it a fiasco. Brian De Palma's $47 million adaptation of Tom Wolfe's 1987 bestseller grossed just $16 million domestically and limped away with a paltry 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. In a filmography packed with classics, from Splash and Big to Philadelphia and Saving Private Ryan, Tom Hanks's turn as Fallen Wall Street, master of the universe, Sherman McCoy felt, to many, like an unfortunate miscasting. Yet 3.5 decades later, the movie's messy ambition, layered performances, and self-lacerating satire deserve a second look. In fact, Hanks's portrayal of a Gilded Age narcissist may be one of his most underrated experiments. 1. The novel's razor-edge satire and the film's impossible inheritance. Tom Wolfe's doorstop novel dissected 1980s New York with surgical glee, racial tensions, tabloid sensationalism, political opportunism, and the gaudy excess of bond trading. Translating that sprawling tapestry to a 2-hour studio picture was always a minefield. Early on, director Mike Nichols bowed out. Brian De Palma took over and, with screenwriter Michael Christopher, tried to cram Wolfe's 659 pages into a carnival of dark comedy. In doing so, they made 2 controversial shifts. Sympathy for Sherman. Wolfe's book treats McCoy as a cautionary emblem. Christopher softens him, gambling that Hanks's everyman aura could anchor the satire. Race-conscious rewrites. Several minority characters were rewritten, most notably Judge Leonard White, turned from Jewish to black and recast with Morgan Freeman, to sharpen commentary on systemic injustices. Purists cried foul, but both changes underscore the film's larger thesis. Everyone, rich, poor, liberal, conservative, chases status in a media-drunk metropolis. 2. Hanks against type, a performance misunderstood. Why critics dismissed him. Early 90s Hanks was still the nice guy from Big and Turner and Hooch. As Sherman, he weaponizes that affability, flashing panic smiles while his empire collapses. Reviewers expected a ruthless wolf, not a flailing golden retriever in a pinstripe suit. Yet that vulnerability is the point. Sherman isn't a criminal mastermind. He's a man-child who believes the city's double standards will always shield him. What holds up now? Controlled hysteria. Watch Hanks's phone booth breakdown as reporters swarm his townhouse. His voice cracks, then darts into a manic pitch, equal parts entitlement and terror. Micro-expressions. When Sherman realizes his allies, lawyers, editors, politicians have abandoned him, Hanks lets the facade slip, shoulders sag, eyes glaze, a silent gulp of reality. Dark comedic timing. Hanks punctuates scenes with nervous laughter and half-finished sentences, mirroring how privilege tries to joke its way out of trouble. From a modern vantage, Hanks foreshadows Jordan Belfort-style antiheroes, a proto-wolf of Wall Street trapped in an era not yet ready to mock its own decadence. 3. De Palma's tonal tightrope. De Palma, famous for Carrie and Scarface, juxtaposes glossy excess with newsroom grime. Element execution effect. Opening 4-minute Steadicam shot following Bruce Willis through a black-tie party single take a la Goodfellas immerses viewers in Manhattan's ego carnival. Hyper-saturated color palette, neon reds, golds, and purples, visual shorthand for Reagan-era opulence. Looney Tunes-style sound cues during pratfalls, exaggerated thuds, whooshes signals comic book unreality, daring viewers to laugh at moral collapse. This stylistic bravado clashed with audience expectations of a courtroom thriller, but today it plays like a precursor to Adam McKay's The Big Short. 4. The studio system on trial. Bonfire's off-screen chaos mirrors its narrative. Casting carousel. Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, Tom Cruise, and Christopher Reeve all circled the lead before Hanks signed. Production rewrites. Warner Brothers pushed for broader comedy, fearing Wolfe's cynicism would alienate moviegoers. PR nightmares. Reports of lavish set spending and clashes among producers fueled negative buzz pre-release. The result? A film that satirizes elite excess while embodying the very Hollywood bloat critics love to skewer. 5. Reappraising the legacy. 1990 consensus 2025 lens. Tone deaf. over-budget misfire. Variety, bold, messy cautionary tale about money, media, and race politics. Hanks is miscast. Hanks weaponizes his charm to expose white-collar fragility. Lacks Wolf's bite. Anticipates later social satires, American Psycho, Big Short. Streaming access and academic discourse on late 80s New York have sparked micro-revivals. Film scholars now teach Bonfire alongside Wall Street and Do the Right Thing to illustrate competing cinematic depictions of urban unrest. 6. Where to watch and what to look for. Currently streaming on HBO Max, US, and rent/own on major VOD services worldwide. Pay attention to Melanie Griffith's femme fatale physicality. Every tilt of her head telegraphs manipulation. Morgan Freeman's climactic courtroom monologue, an indictment delivered with preacherly cadence. Vilmos Zsigmon's nighttime lensing of the Bronx, smoky, amberlit, evoking a gritty fairy tale. Final verdict. The Bonfire of the Vanities is not the disaster its early reviews suggest. It's an unwieldy, uneven, yet hypnotic satire that, like its source novel, slaps a gaudy smile on the American ID. Tom Hanks's performance, once derided as miscasting, now feels daring, a superstar exploring the rot behind a golden handshake. Revisit it, and you may find a film that predicted our era's obsession with privilege, spin, and the shameless appetite for scandal. Sometimes, a career's misstep simply arrives too early for its audience. 35 years on, Bonfire burns brighter than you remember.